Intel hasn't reported revenue growth like this in 15 years, and when the numbers dropped last week, the stock market's response was immediate and explosive. Share prices surged, analysts upgraded their ratings, and the conversation overnight shifted from "Is Intel dead?" to "Is this the comeback nobody saw coming?" Here's the context. Intel spent the last 5 years watching rivals steal its dominance. AMD ate its server market share. Nvidia became the AI chip king. TSMC got all the cutting-edge manufacturing contracts. Intel looked like yesterday's company with yesterday's technology. The company that invented the modern processor, the one that powered every PC and server for decades, was suddenly the underdog fighting for relevance. But something shifted. Intel started shipping new AI-focused chips that actually compete. Data centers that spent years buying from competitors started ordering Intel again. The company's financial results finally reflected it, and that's when Wall Street woke up. This isn't just about one good quarter. It's about a company that was almost counted out, that everyone said couldn't innovate fast enough, suddenly proving the doubters wrong. And in the AI gold rush, being the chipmaker with a credible product matters more than ever. Here's where it gets interesting. The turnaround is real, but it's also fragile. Intel dominated for decades because it held an unbreakable advantage. It made the best processors and owned the factories to produce them. But around 2020, that model broke apart. AMD released chips that matched Intel's performance at lower prices. TSMC, a contract manufacturer, started producing the most advanced chips in the world, first for Apple, then for Nvidia, then for everyone else. Intel's factories fell behind. They were making older generation chips, while TSMC was years ahead. The company's executives had bet the entire strategy on a process node called 7 nanometer that kept slipping delay after delay after delay. Meanwhile, AMD was shipping server processors that were faster and cheaper. Cloud giants like Amazon and Microsoft built their own custom chips instead of buying Intel. Nvidia's GPUs became the standard for AI, and Intel had no competitive answer. By 2023 and 2024, Intel was in genuine crisis. Revenue was flat. Market share in data centers, Intel's most profitable business, was collapsing. The stock price had dropped in half. Analysts published research papers titled, "Is Intel in Decline?" and "Can Intel Survive?" Investors were genuinely asking whether the company could turn around or if it was slowly dying. The company burned through leadership, went through 3 CEOs in a row, and faced existential questions about whether its factory-based business model could ever compete with pure-play designers like Nvidia. Intel's turnaround rests on one critical insight. The company realized it couldn't beat Nvidia at GPUs, but it could own a different throne, the data center CPU market for AI workloads. When you're running a large language model or training an AI system, you need 2 types of chips. Nvidia's GPUs do the heavy lifting, but Intel's Xeon processors handle everything else: memory management, data routing, orchestration. Xeon hasn't been fashionable in years, but Intel invested billions into making the new generation of Xeons genuinely better. The latest versions, called Granite Rapids, can handle AI workloads that previous generations couldn't touch. They integrate specialized AI instructions, support massive memory bandwidth, and they're designed from the ground up to work alongside Nvidia GPUs in a balanced system. Here's the catch that nobody expected. Data centers discovered that having faster CPUs actually makes their whole AI infrastructure work better. A bottleneck at the CPU can slow down the most expensive GPUs sitting idle. Suddenly, upgrading to newer Xeons wasn't just a nice-to-have. It was essential for AI performance. Major cloud providers started swapping out older Xeons and placing massive orders for the new generation. When you're managing thousands of servers, an upgrade cycle means hundreds of millions of dollars in chip purchases. Intel's Q2 earnings showed data center revenue jumping dramatically, almost entirely driven by AI infrastructure builds. It's the classic tech story: identify the bottleneck, fix it, and suddenly you're essential again. If you've used any of the major AI tools this year, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, any of them, you've probably hit an Intel Xeon processor. Not the GPU that trained the model, but the CPU orchestrating everything, handling your query, managing memory, routing data to the AI chips, and sending your answer back. Meta just announced it's building 500,000 AI GPUs. Those GPUs need to live somewhere, and the servers that house them, connect them, and manage them run on CPUs. Intel doesn't get the headline, but it gets the order. Same story at Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. Every company building AI infrastructure needs new CPUs. Intel also launched gaudy AI accelerators, chips that aren't quite GPUs, but aren't quite CPUs, designed specifically for training and running large models on a budget. They are cheaper than NVIDIA H100 and good enough for many workloads. When a startup or smaller cloud provider can't afford NVIDIA's premium pricing, Gaudi becomes the alternative. The company is also designing custom chips for specific customers. Microsoft, for example, is working with Intel on custom processors optimized for Azure's AI workloads. That's a billion-dollar relationship buried in the fine print of the earnings report. None of these products make headlines individually, but together they add up to the revenue spike that sent Intel's stock soaring. Here's the tricky part. Intel is winning in CPUs, but NVIDIA still dominates GPUs. AMD is still a serious competitor in both. And TSMC, the company everyone said was leaving Intel behind forever, is still the world's best manufacturer. Think of it like a three-way race where Intel was lapping everyone in the CPU lane, then fell way behind, and now it's catching up. But NVIDIA isn't in the CPU race, it's dominating the GPU sprint. AMD is in both races and competitive in both. TSMC is the track itself. For data center workloads in 2026, here's roughly what happened. A company that wants to deploy AI infrastructure used to buy NVIDIA GPUs and not worry much about the CPU. Now they're buying Xeons again because bad CPUs are the weak link. Intel's revenue jumped because they finally plugged that gap. NVIDIA's GPUs are still more powerful, more in demand, more expensive, but they are part of a system now, and Intel controls a critical part. AMD's latest EPYC processors are also good, arguably competitive with Xeon in some benchmarks, but AMD doesn't have the manufacturing capacity that Intel has. Intel's factories might be behind TSMC's cutting edge, but they have scale. They can make tens of millions of chips. AMD's server chips are made by TSMC, so AMD is subject to TSMC's capacity constraints. Intel's comeback matters in three ways you should care about. First, pricing. When Intel was nearly irrelevant, AMD and NVIDIA could charge whatever they wanted. Now there's actual competition in the CPU market again. Prices should stabilize or even drop. If you're running a startup's AI workload, you have options, and options drive down costs. Second, supply chain diversity. Over the last 5 years, everyone got nervous about depending too heavily on TSMC. It's in Taiwan, which has geopolitical risk. It's also at maximum capacity. Not everything that wants to be built there can be. Intel is US-based, and it's ramping manufacturing. That matters to governments that want to build sovereign AI infrastructure. It matters to companies that want redundancy. It matters to countries worried about chip dependency. Third, the talent and investment consequences. When Intel looked dead, chip engineers went to startups and to AMD and to NVIDIA. Now the company is hiring like crazy. Billions of dollars are flowing into Intel's factory expansion. That's research jobs, manufacturing jobs, ripple effects through the entire supply chain. For the average person, the change is subtle but real. The devices you use run on chips made by dozens of companies. But the infrastructure behind AI services, the servers that process your queries, those depend heavily on CPUs. When you see a tech company's earnings report and the stock jumps 20% in one day, what actually happened? For Intel, there are 3 numbers to understand. Revenue, that's the total money the company brought in. Intel's revenue jumped because it sold more chips. Why? Because AI infrastructure expansion accelerated and Intel's chips fit into that expansion. Simple as that. Gross margin, that's the profit the company makes on each chip sold, after you subtract manufacturing costs. For Intel, gross margin matters more than revenue because the company owns its own factories. Making more chips means better margins because factories become more efficient when they are running at capacity. Intel's margins improved, which is huge. It signals the factories are being used effectively. Forward guidance, that's the leadership's promise about what's coming next. If Intel said, "We expect even higher growth in the next 2 quarters." That's why the stock jumped more than the actual earnings warranted. Investors aren't just buying past performance, they're betting on future performance. Now here's the nuance. A single good quarter doesn't prove Intel's back. The company needs to consistently grow, protect its market share against AMD, and continue the factory expansion on schedule. If any of those stumble, if a new AMD processor eats market share, if the next factory delay happens, if data center spending suddenly slows, the stock could just as quickly decline. That's why earnings reports matter in tech. They're a short-term signal of momentum, but long-term success is a different beast entirely. Intel's earnings report delivered a moment, but the company's story is far from settled. What matters now is execution. The company has to keep shipping competitive chips on schedule. It has to keep winning data center orders away from AMD. It has to complete its factories in Arizona and Ohio without cost overruns or delays. And it has to navigate a market where its main customers, the cloud giants, are also designing their own chips as a hedge against depending too heavily on Intel. The next 6 months to a year, watch 3 things. First, will Intel's data center revenue stay strong, or was Q2 a one-time spike? Second, what will AMD and Nvidia do to respond to this turnaround? Nvidia might finally talk about CPUs. AMD might cut prices to defend share. Third, how fast can Intel's factories actually produce and at what cost? The margin story only works if the factories execute. Intel becoming competitive again is genuinely good for the AI industry. Competition drives innovation, lowers costs, and gives customers real choices. But going from the company everybody wrote off to a genuine leader requires more than one good quarter. The next earnings report in October will be critical. It'll show whether this turnaround is sustainable or just a moment. If Intel hits guidance and delivers growth again, the stock probably soars again. If execution stumbles, Wall Street's attention will move elsewhere overnight.